Well, thank you for having me. First of all, I would like to start this with a question. Do you believe that our children are receiving the education they truly deserve? That question was asked a few years ago from one of my students, and that made me actually really think about this really hard. Anyway, let me introduce myself. My name is Andreas Farmakalidis, and I am not only a candidate for LAUSD District 3, I have always been an advocate for revitalized education. Education is my passion, and it extends beyond classrooms. I am an immigrant, I am a veteran, I'm a music school owner, I'm a teacher, and I taught all levels of education around the world. I taught in Cyprus, I taught in Greece, I taught in Japan, and I am now teaching in the USA as well for the last 10, 11 years. So I've seen all the diversity firsthand, and I have several graduate degrees. I have a master's degree in music, a master's degree in education, and a master's degree in political science from Berkeley, Brandeis, and Harvard, respectively. I am a member of several boards, including several chambers of commerce, Education Connection, Rotary, and the Anchor Bell Lodge. And actually, I have actively engaged with the City Council and the Assembly, suggesting several bills, including several amendments to education bills, like AB 2546, which is regarding financial education. My priorities center around fostering music and arts, because I recognize their pivotal role in holistic development. Having faced a learning disability in the past, I value personalized education, and that should be for everybody. And my candidacy always stands on action, not just words. A goal in my candidacy is a space where every child, regardless of background, can thrive. And my mission is always been to advocate for an empowering educational system. And this has always, as I mentioned, been my passion. However, this is not about passion. This is about practicality.
2 minutes. Time.
Thank you. So practicality, the only way we can be practical is if we have financial responsibility within this district to support all these initiatives. So let's embrace change, not for the sake of change. So thank you. My name is Andreas Farmakalidis.
Okay, thank you. So the first question is, the NENC has asked the LA City Council to support the passage of proposed LAUSD resolution improving special education within the LAUSD. As a board member, what would you do to support children with special education needs, particularly those whose disabilities are severe?
Perfect. Thank you for this question. It's actually a very, very, very important question. Now, this is how I would approach the matter. First, I would check that we are compliant with the IDEA. The first step, IDEA Act. The first step is improving education with LAUSD is to ensure that we have a strict compliance with the IDEA. The federal law mandates that all students with disabilities receive a free and appropriate public education. So as a member of the board, I will prioritize first to be adherence with the IDEA regulations to protect the rights of students with disabilities and their families. The second thing, I will make sure that we have resource allocation. Basically, adequate resources must be allocated to support special education programs. This includes funding for specialized staff, classroom material, technology that we might need, and professional development for educators and staff. Then we need to have inclusive education, Inclusion is a core principle for special education, especially LAUSD. And then, of course, the individual education plans, the IEPs, as Dan mentioned. Each student with a disability should have an individualized education plan tailored to their specific needs. And I see that every day. At the moment, I have about 13 students with special needs. And I actually have a special need credential as well. Then we need to make sure that our teachers have the proper training. It's crucial to make sure that to provide teachers with the necessary training and professional development to make sure that they can actually teach students with disabilities. Investing in ongoing teacher education in special education strategies are the best practices for this subject. Of course, early intervention. And lastly, parental engagement.
Okay. Question number 2, the NENC has expressed concern over charter schools' $3,708,006 unpaid balance for over-allocation fees. As a board member, how would you bring transparency to how space in public schools is allocated to charter schools?
Perfect. First, we have to see that everything is legally compliant. We need to determine whether everything, is handled correctly. We need to make sure that there's financial prudence. We need to make sure that to assess whether everything is being allocated correctly. And then, of course, transparency and accountability, as we all mentioned. We all have to be transparent about the issue, and particularly when we deal with that sum of money. It's a lot of money. And actually, since you mentioned that specific dollar amount, we have to make sure that we investigate the issue and make sure that the money are being allocated correctly. Revoking a charter, though, because I see the debt, revoking a charter would be not the immediate decision. We have to make sure that first provide them with a financial payment plan or other measure to ensure financial responsibility, and then maybe we can go and revoke a charter. However, everything needs to be transparent financially regarding the charter schools. There are a lot of issues with this collocation policy, and we have to evaluate the charter school standards and performance to make sure that there's transparency in the issue of the financial. Now, how we can do that? Basically, make sure that we investigate all the money and they're allocated correctly. Thank you.
Okay. Third question. In September 2022, it was revealed that the LAUSD's computer systems had been hacked. Despite assurances that personal information had not been released, later reports showed that sensitive information for some children had been disclosed. As a board member, how would you ensure accountability for the failure to prevent the hack and for the missteps in the aftermath?
Okay, first, the weird thing with this situation is that immediate actions were not being taken. So immediate actions that the LAUSD should have taken is basically transparency and communication. The LAUSD should prioritize complete transparency with the affected individuals and the public. We have to provide clear and accurate information about the breach to everybody and the data compromised regarding this. Then we have to make, these are the immediate actions, creating monitoring and support of all the affected individuals. And of course, we have to make an investigation, and this thing didn't happen immediately. It took them more than a month because they were saying it only happened one time, which was a lie. Thorough investigation and assessment. Now that we have the issue and we know that it happened, we have to make sure that we have long-term improvements, which means we need enhanced cybersecurity infrastructures. I assume it's probably an outdated hardware and software that needs to be upgraded. Probably cybersecurity training, multi-factor authentication systems that Google offers, data governance. Now, additional things that we have to add on this issue is probably community engagement. All my life, and I love community engagement. We have to engage with the community, including parents, teachers, and students, to raise awareness about cybersecurity and encourage responsible online behavior. And of course, we have to make sure that there's a proper legislation and regulations in place to advocate for this issue. However, we need to make sure that those long-term improvements are in place. Thank you.
Okay, 1 minute for a closing statement.
Okay. So regarding a closing statement, I want to express, first of all, a big thank you to everybody for inviting me today. I'm here today not only as a candidate, but as a dedicated advocate for inclusive and quality education. My experience, I've been teaching since 2008, and that fuels my positive change within our district. As we approach, the pivotal moment of the elections, I urge you, please consider my new vision that I've crafted for the district. And I hope you help me prioritize student success, foster innovation in teaching and learning with music and arts, school safety, and ensure that every child is safe and receives the education they deserve. So I am not bound by traditional thinking, and I'm willing to explore innovative solutions to improve education. Thank you again for your time.